Welcome everyone. This is the All In FPL show. We are back for another edition, and we are joined as ever by the legend that is Mr. Doyle. How are you, Doyle?
I'm good. I'm good. I missed this last week, so good to be back. Good to be back on it. Glad to
Yeah.
be recording on Wednesday rather than Monday after Everton at the weekend. So that's all out of my mind now. That's gone. I'm back looking forward. We're
So
good
for
to go.
once, we've got you completely fresh, not hungover, ready to go, fully focused.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you've been on your holidays last week. That's why we weren't here because I've already complained quite a few times. Don't like to talk about it, but I had a stonking week, and you two left the country, so we couldn't record, unfortunately. But yeah, you had a good time in Norway, yeah.
Yeah, you had to get that in about your week last week before we go into the week just gone, didn't you?
100%, especially with what's coming up.
Yeah, I had to go to the roots of fantasy football, Norway. Some of the best players in the world from there. So went there, sort of took a training course in FPL in Norway. I've come back, feel a better manager. So yeah, it's good.
Yes, scouting that talent that joins the league in a couple of years, maybe for FPL, yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, and as ever, we are also joined by the money man, the richest man on the planet, Joshua Waldridge. How are you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. I would have preferred the Monday this week because Doyle was in a right foul mood on Monday, weren't you, Doyle? After the NFL exploits on Sunday night, he was going to quit JB. He
Why?
said
What happened on Sunday?
we had a very good run in the 1 million tournament on DraftKings. We were 10th at half
What?
time of
Wow.
the second lot of games, and we ended up finishing just outside top 100, I think. But Doyle thought it was the closest we're ever going to get to win. He's like, even when we win, I'm sad, so I'm just don't want to play anymore. But we're gonna win. We're gonna win in the next few weeks. We've got an absolute super system. So yeah. I'm optimistic. Doyle's now optimistic. I know he is. Look at him. Look at his little face. So we're all good, but FPL is more important. That's what we're talking about today, isn't it?
More important than you winning £1 million or whatever, yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Well, what have we got coming up today then, Doyle?
So we're going to go through the game week just gone,
Very
which
quickly.
we very much enjoyed this week. Before we move on to a wildcard discussion. At least one person in this call is on wildcard. A lot of other people, I think, are doing the same. So we're going to discuss, we've been away for 2 weeks. I think everyone's wondering what are all in FPL's takes on players. They're lost. So we're going to go and break it down position by position. Who are the best picks on wildcard? What are the fixtures? Who are the guys in form? Before we look ahead to next game week.
Sounds good. Well, it's a wild card special episode, yeah. So it's got to be a good one, right?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if because at the end of the last episode, I remember we talked about all the best strikers and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if some of our opinions have completely changed from the very last things we said on the last episode to like the strikers we're going to recommend on this one. So a lot changes in 2 weeks, doesn't it?
It changes after 1 week most of the times. You just need one player to go off, and then suddenly you're all for it. I was up for getting rid of Hoyland, bagged a couple of goals last night. Now I'm suddenly thinking, got to keep him. So yeah, changes. Game week review. Let's get onto it.
Definitely you first, mate.
I was going to say I don't know how many points you two got, but I'm going to take it away anyway. Yeah, it was disastrous. I think the screenshot I've got on the screen at the moment might even be lower than what I've got because I didn't even wait for the auto subs to come in. But eventually I got 32 points. Not my finest week. Definitely not. Obviously didn't have Watkins. Watkins was the big differential this week between the good scores and the bad scores. We've been campaigning for him on this show, haven't we? We've all said all season how when people was getting rid, we said keep him. He's getting assists. He scored a hat-trick in Europe. But we still thought he was maybe a little bit overpriced at 8 million, and I think that might have been why we didn't go for him. But yeah, he looks really good this week. Got his hat trick, couple of assists, so going forward he'll be really good. But as I said, I didn't have him. I had Hoyland up front, who he's had a few chances and he's looked decent. Last night he scored a couple in the Champions League, so I'm still quite confident about him. But obviously blanked at the weekend. So did Haaland as well. He was my captain, so only 4 points for me for my captain. A few people was obviously on Morris, who done really, really well. Got his goal, and obviously the extra game gave him the extra 4 points, which, considering Haaland only scored 4 points, was a big plus there. Do I need to start in goal? Jordan Pickford. Oh, just I'm literally lost for words. I mean, he don't even make any saves anymore. Even we'll concede 2 goals, and he won't even get 1 save, let alone 3 saves. He ain't sniffed
We're the king of the XG, JB. We don't let any shots against us except the ones that go in, and we shoot loads and we don't score. So it's like if we had shot on target bonus, then you'd be fine. You'd be fine.
I'm at the end of my tether with him now. Anyway, home to Luton, even in that game, he concedes a couple of goals. So yeah, absolute dog shit. Matty Cash at the back. I was pleased to got him a few weeks ago. He got an assist this week, so I was pleased with him. He's looking really good. I think a lot of people will be trying to get him in, especially if they are on wildcards. I had a Stupinan who come in second off the bench for me, unfortunately, but that was because Vardio and Botman didn't play. He got a -2. He'd done everything in the game, you name it. Own goals, hauled off at half-time, booking, I don't know, whatever it was. Actually, I don't think he did get booked, did he, in the end? But he still got -2. So not good. And I think he was even injured. It's come out today, potentially. So going forward, that could be a flag come tomorrow. It's not good for Estupinan. Gabriel I had, who's actually seems like he's now down that place now, especially last night as well. Him and Ben White didn't play last night in the Champions League, and it was him at the back with Saliba. So, yeah, Gabriel, not too worried about him going forward now. He's actually quite cheap if people did want to get him in, but Arsenal's fixtures ain't amazing, so we'll have to see. But he did get a clean sheet at the weekend against Bournemouth, and in that game, Saka scored. Should have had a hat-trick, but he gave away about 30 penalties to his teammates, so didn't quite come off. But he did score, so that was good for me. The rest of the midfield, I had Mbumo blanked again. He's on his way soon, I think. The good fixtures are ending for them. James Maddison and Salah both blanked in the same game, despite Salah getting an assist, which never was. I'm sure we all know about that by now. And Mitoma as well only got a point for me also. So, yeah, not a good week for me. Please, let's move on.
Person in the world, JB, that's not a United fan that owns Hoyland, actually. I've not seen anyone have him.
I just really like him. I think he's looked a really, really good player. Everything I read about him sounded really good as well. So,
Josh,
Hoyland, by the way, has absolutely slaughtered me on DraftKings the last 3 weeks. I've played him every week. I've played 100% of him every week. And he just hasn't. Obviously, he was unlucky with the Rashford one where the ball was just off the pitch. But yeah, he just hasn't got the points done. I'm looking at JB's team still for some reason. So mine is the same goalkeeper, absolutely useless. I've got Saliba over Gabriel, which again, fine, 6 points, really happy. Estupinan I started. I haven't got any of these auto sub excuses. I just played him. I was like, I'm playing this guy. He's up for a big game here, -2. Should have been booked, so it honestly should have been -3. Pau Torres couldn't keep clean sheet even in that game where it was bloody 6-1. So yeah, I made a mistake there. I should have bought in cash, and I bought in Pau Torres literally that week. I don't know why I did that. I should have just bought in Matty Cash. So that one's on me. I lost myself 4 points there. Rashford 2. Sterling is just a joke. 0. I mean, why do the Chelsea players always start on the bench, come on and get booked? Like, it's happened like 4 times now. I just keep, and Doyle keeps making the jokes about, oh, your auto subs are still to come on, don't worry. No, they're not. They just get booked and they come on, and it's just absolutely pathetic. Maddison 2, I'm happy to have him, to be honest. Bruno Fernandes 2, honestly, he's not been as good the last couple of weeks, but I'm still happy to have him. Saka 9, injured, won't play the weekend, I don't think. I'm pretty certain of that one. And then I did bring in Morris, so I did get the 10 there. Never considered captaining him. But he was obviously a fine punt for captaincy. And then Haaland had his least involved game since he's joined Man City. He got a 4, yeah. So Wolves completely shut him out. They put Super Craig Dawson on him, so he's got a nickname that some of the Wolves players call him. I think he's
Ballon Dawson.
Ballon Dawson, yeah. Sorry, Ballon Dawson. Sorry, that's what it is. But yeah, that's what Michael Richards called him on Match of the Day anyway. So yeah, Botman, no idea. Like, he's obviously injured, but they kept that one really quiet. I think that was a bit of a surprise. They sort of said he was going to play, then he didn't play. So yeah, got 2 points for Pau Torres. So that was probably like a positive for me because most other people got Estupiñán on, I think. So I think I made 4 points by Botman not playing, basically. So, yeah, 36 points, absolutely horrendous. And the downside of bringing in Morris this week is that I've now got Morris in my team. So, like, I just should have sort of thought ahead on that one, really. I'll take my 10 points, but yeah, he sort of forced my hand a little bit, I think. Doyle, what about you? Top of the shop with an absolutely mammoth score this week.
Is it bad that I was really looking forward to Morris playing tonight? Didn't know he played already.
Yeah. It was a classic last night.
I lost 2-1, bloody hell. Yeah.
Yeah, lose it. So that means you're going to get absolutely battered by Burnley. If you lost to them and they lost to them, that means they're way better than you.
All right, okay, 48 points for the top of the pile. Johnston in goal has been an absolute legend, to be honest with you, the last couple of weeks, 9 and 8, doing God's work. Saliba, same as Josh, 6 points. Slow and steady wins the race for these Arsenal lads. Kabore, massive 3 points. Love that. Udogie has been absolutely useless for me since I brought him in with 1 pointer. Foden is a really bad pick, I think, at this point. Sterling, even worse pick. Maddison's great, but blank for some reason. Salah, 1 pointer. He's actually an awful pick as well. Bruno's a great pick, but blanked. Haaland, crap. And Super Morris, great job. Captain, fantastic, which is what really separated me from you losers this week, choosing the correct captain. And then I had Anderson on the bench as usual for his 15-pointer. He's been on my bench for a nice 15, 26, 30-something points this season, so pretty strong. But he's done me well there, so I can't complain too much.
It was a good goal. Bloody hell, did she? You haven't seen it, have you?
I've not seen it.
Absolutely rifled it top bins. It was an absolute pile driver.
He's so good. I've got to start him every week. I've had enough. He's actually a striker. They're going to start putting him up top. Edouard's injured.
Yeah, I know. Super Mateta's there, though. Mateta's been really good off the bench this year so far.
Shame. Okay, well, should we move on then? On to the next segment, which I guess is looking at wildcards.
The main subject of the show, wildcard mayhem. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give the context. I am on my wildcard. So I looked at my team. This is before Saka and Estupiñán fell down, by the way. So I'd already pressed it on Sunday night or something, I think. I had Sterling, who didn't play. Only a virus, but he's also been terrible, and the fixtures start to turn after next week. So there's one more all right fixture, and then they go really bad very quickly. So didn't want anything to do with him or any of his friends that play for that blue team who are still rubbish. Morris, as I alluded to before, I just really didn't want anything to do with that situation either, to be honest. I mean, yes, they did beat Everton, but I don't think I want him long term. So that was another one. Botman's injured. That took us all by a bit of a surprise, but doesn't help. And then the goalkeeper situation as well. Turner's about to get dropped because he's terrible as well. Pickford's... I can't believe I did this to myself. And then... what was the other one? And then, as we said, Saka and Estupiñán are now injured as well. So I also did the wrong thing with Torres over Cash. I think Cash is just way obvious over Torres, for example. So that was another one. One FT wants to play a wild card, so did so. Yeah. I think I could have held it, to be honest, but the team is just rubbish. And I showed one person my team. I said, "What shall I do with this?" And he just laughed. So I presume that does mean wild card. You know what I mean? I think that's a good indicator to play your wild card. I think so. Yeah.
Was there other reasons, as in did you want fixture changes, or was there certain players that you really wanted that you couldn't get to perhaps now as well that you wanted that made you do that decision?
Yeah, so I'd locked in my one transfer. I hadn't done it, but I knew what I was going to do this week. I was going to do Saka to Son anyway. So that was there. but I always had it in my mind that it might be a Saturday night, Sunday night wildcard activation, like just because, like I say, I didn't want Morris, and it just looked so ugly having him there, and he's just got rubbish fixtures, and they play for a rubbish team, so that was a problem. Sterling just did the thing that pushes you over the edge, like the just annoying thing where he's just randomly on the bench this game because he's got COVID or something like that. It's just like just piss off, Sterling. You've caused me to wild card. Well done.
I've just looked at Sterling then. Like, it's so funny. 19, 2, 2, 2, 0. He's such a loser, man.
It's like Matty Cash. Yeah. He's just like it's, and obviously we all missed the 19. Is the funniest thing. Like,
obviously, we're not good enough to get him before 19. We're just idiots that see 19 points. Oh, he must be good. Let's get him now.
Exactly. Yeah. So you missed the 19, and you have him for all just a crap, basically. To be fair, at least he had a 19. Jackson didn't even have that. So, yeah, he was just the twos and the ones, mainly ones. So, yeah, Chelsea have absolutely destroyed me this season. I mean, it's been horrendous. I've had a triple up and, yeah, got it down to 1. Now I'm down to 0, obviously, because they're not coming near a wild card. So, yeah. A lot of the people will be the same, but it's just that slight tweak, I think, in certain key positions where you want to catch the people who you think are going to get the points in the next 5-6 weeks. So yeah,
I think the main players as well. Everyone's been talking about is Watkins. Obviously, you didn't have Watkins. Son playing out of position, but just in general playing pretty well, I think. And then obviously I got Luton this week, and then Kieran Trippier as well. A lot of people now. We did think he was slightly overpriced at the beginning of the season, and obviously I got Champions League, but to be honest, he's picked up where he left off last year. He's, out of all the defenders, not many defenders are doing much. I think with all this extra time that's being added to games, we're getting 110 minutes all in all, like the end of the first, 10 at the end of the first, 10 at the end of the second half. It's hard to get clean sheets now, and Trippier is someone who can still get bonus and assists, and he's possibly looking decent value for money, dare I say it. So is that what pushed you in as well? You want to get some of these players? Are you going to reveal it or?
Yeah, the 3 you mentioned are going to be in my team. So it's good that you said those. It sort of makes me feel more confident as well. Trippier, I still think he's overpriced, but I just think there's so much spare money in the game this year that you can have that luxury of paying for something like that when he has a good fixture run. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when Newcastle's fixtures go bad again, Trippier's in the bin straight away. I'm not interested in having that sort of thing, you know what I mean? But for now, they've just got the best fixtures, so he's like an auto pick with the spare money we've got, I think. So, yeah, I'm happy to have him, I think.
I think Villa and Newcastle, good teams, good fixture runs. Have you got many of them?
I think I have. I think I'm not picking a Newcastle attacker, that's for sure. It's still an absolute minefield for me. Like, the 2 strikers, when they're both fit, it's a coin flip on it. It's just like sometimes they'll both play, but more often than not, it'll be one or the other. And then the defense is really good value. The 4.5 guys are really good value, but obviously Botman's injured, which is a bit of I would have had him for sure, you know what I mean? But I'm obviously not going to go there now. So I've just got 1 Newcastle and I've got 2 Villa on my current draft. I think Diaby's going to be injured for the weekend, so I'm sort of steering clear of him.
Have you been in the team for tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, he's a good option. He's very cheap. Yeah, he's good for his price, but I think he might be one sort of. I think he'll definitely be one for the game week 10 wildcarders, for example, because that's going to be a popular thing as well. So, yeah, good pick. Didn't quite make it for me. I like Tottenham's next 3. I know we've talked about it. I already had Maddison and Udogie, but I wanted to add Son to that. They've got a really good next 3. They've got Luton, Fulham, Palace, which is pretty good, I think. But like, especially the first one, obviously. So, yeah, happy to have them. Then maybe move off for someone else who's got good fixtures in a bit. So, yeah.
Quite a bit of structure, Josh. Should we go through your wildcard position by position? Look who you've got at the moment. We can sort of say, we think they're good picks, or if there's anyone else we think we should add in, and go that way.
Yeah, sure. Let's start with the goalkeeper because it's the boring one. So let's get it out of the way. I think we have to have Areola on wildcard. Do we agree with that? I think it's just obvious, right?
Too cheap, yeah.
4.2. No?
I'm unsure. He's 4.2 now, which is not that much of a saving, and the West Ham defence is actually really, really bad from an underlying perspective.
Yeah, I mean they haven't they've had tough fixtures, I would say. So they played Chelsea, Brighton, City, and
Yeah.
Liverpool, three of which are away. But they have also had Luton and Sheffield United in that. So it's like they've had the good and the bad ones, basically, like nothing in between sort of thing. So
I think he's the third highest scoring goalkeeper. And for
yeah,
4.2, I mean, you know,
We're trying to get future points, JB, not pass points, mate. You can't bank, and we just found out with Sterling, you can't bank the pass points, mate.
okay. So here we go. Let's do so. After this weekend, they've got Newcastle this weekend. Their next three home games after that are Everton, Forest, and Palace, which are really good defensive fixtures, right? So I think I'd want to play him in those. Let's go with the future. They've also got Burnley away in between Palace and Forest. So there's games where I'd play him, you know what I mean? And I think if I am going to do a little rotation with a 4-5 and a 4-2, it's better to like save the money with the 4-2, you know what I mean, rather than have 2-4-5s or whatever. Who would you have, Doyle? Would it be Super Johnston or?
Super Sammy Johnston, baby. He's so good. Palace are so good. I just love it. I mean, he's obviously going to get dropped. He's not going to get dropped. He's never going to get dropped. He's too good to get dropped. So, yeah, I love Sam Johnston. The pictures are still good. I think he's great.
Yeah, Pat. I'm after you said about Johnston, because I've always been a big advocate of this Palace defense. As I say, over the last like 4 years, XG conceded wise, they're like fifth highest. They're like absolutely elite defensively. Crystal Palace are. And yeah, I think he's one. I'm going to try and find the money for him. I've currently got Turner and Areola. Don't think Turner plays long term anymore. I think that might be one that does get looked at / dropped. So I'm thinking I might go with a Johnston Areola special. I think that might be a good one to go with. He's still only 4-5, which is really good. And they're just really, really good defensively. So. And it also means I get to play Forest at home this week again for Johnston, whereas Areola had quite a bad one, I think. So, yeah, seems good to me.
Would you ever be tempted to pay just that little bit extra for David Raya? He's only 4.8, and obviously he does very well in the bonus because of the way he plays with the passes and that sort of stuff. Playing for the Arsenal team, it seems like he's got that position now, or is that too risky for you?
It's not too risky. I find that very hard to commit to that when the next two games are City and Chelsea. Like
But
I
you
feel
could
like
also have Areola anyway, because that can be your bench fodder if you have Raya. He's only 4.2, so you could go that way.
Areola's fixtures aren't good for the next two either. Is the problem? Like it just doesn't work as a rotation for me. Like I'd rather have someone who does have good fixtures in the next two, and obviously Johnston has Forest at home, which is pretty good. Newcastle at home, Villa away are the next two for Areola. That's like pretty bad defensively, I would say. Those two are. So, then it gets good. But
if I look at it, just the next two, though, right? With this wildcard going to last you now for God knows how many game weeks.
yeah. I mean,
I think it's too risky, personally, Raya still, because I think
that was what I was going to say. That's why I worry about Raya, because like if it has to be long term, he's still got a really good understudy there. Like it's really good. Whereas, to be fair, Johnston's got Henderson. It's like, again, is that too good? I don't know. Areola, it's worth the risk for the 4-2. I don't see him getting dropped, by the way. He's been absolutely amazing, but Fabianski is still there. Yeah.
Is that you've got that sort of, if you do get the two keepers, you do have that. If you go Johnston or Raya, it's that you will have Areola as well, right? So
you get the other, yeah. Yeah, it's quite interesting. All the teams we're talking about have got two really good goalkeepers now in their squad. Some might be injured and stuff, like Henderson, but they've all got like two really decent Premier League goalkeepers now. So it does make it a bit harder, especially to do a rotation or something.
Okay. Any other call-outs, JB or Josh, that you've seen in goalkeeper?
No, I think that's it. I mean, Leno's the top point scorer at the moment, but he's actually gone up to 4.7, and I think that's probably too pricey for me at 4.7. Then you've got Sanchez, the second top goalkeeper for Chelsea. Couldn't get a combination of save points, but yeah, I wouldn't be. I'm not too fussed about hard fixtures for goalkeepers, because we always see it every year. Like you look at Ederson and Alisson Becker, they're miles down the list compared to some of the other goalkeepers for Palace, Fulham, West Ham. Even Neto's above them too. So I don't think the fixtures worry me too much. I think that just goes to show you need a cheap goalkeeper, and it just emphasises the point about Areola. Just 4.2 million, just got to get him in. He's the first one on your list, and it's up to you if you just want to splash a bit of extra cash on a 4.5 perhaps.
I think Areola and Turner is valid for now. I mean, it will require a transfer at some point. I think just law of averages, I would say that might require a transfer at some point, because it might be that they're both out for whatever reason one week. You know what I mean? But yeah,
most of the time, most years we have one goalie and then probably their backup who's 4 million sometimes, and we only have one starting goalie anyway. So if you can get 8.2 on your two goalkeepers, I think that's absolutely fine. You know, if it comes to it, it comes to it. That's what a transfer's for, right?
Areola and Fabianski's 8.5. It's weird that the understudy's more than the the first choice one, but yeah, I think it's probably better to just pay an extra 0.2 in this case for Johnston, maybe. Steele's 4-4. Could be worse. No, I know there's a rotation there, but
yeah,
that's the Steele.
Yeah. Back to Steele. It goes full circle, doesn't it?
Pickford's dropped to 4.4.
Pickford's 4-4. I was just going to say that.
He'll be 4-2 before you know
it. Get him back in. Yeah, let's move on from this. This is so boring anyway. It's just like pick a 4.5 and pick a cheap one who starts if there is one. Yeah, so Areola and Johnston probably.
Okay, so what's your back five?
My back five currently is, but I'm going to make a change based on something that you boys have said actually. So live help on the podcast already. I think Gabriel's now far better than Saliba, and 0.5 difference now. So I'm going to go with Gabriel over Saliba. I should have done that to begin with, but I kept Saliba because I've got 2 price rises out of him. So I could sell him for 5.1 and get Gabriel for 4.7, which seems like a no-brainer to me. Ben White's 5.5 on this game. That is bizarre. I haven't spotted that till this point. That is a complete mispricing. That is crazy.
If Saliba and Gabriel was 5.5, I don't think no one would have minded too much.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
has he gone so high compared to Saliba and Gabriel? It just seems baffling because they were both 5 when they started.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go Gabriel now. I've got Matty Cash, Trippier, Udogie, Estupinan. I don't think there's anything too exciting here. There's probably other options, but I think this is quite a safe defence. My thinking for going with the Arsenal and Brighton ones are they've got the long-term fixtures, so they don't. I wouldn't play them next 2 games, but after that, they've got really good fixtures from game week 10 for Brighton and Arsenal. So I'm stashing them on the bench, and then they'll come in. So if I get an injury from game week 10, I've got like 5 defenders who I can and want to play. You know what I mean? Each week, so it's sort of like just that future-proofing the team again. Like, got to keep this team for 20 weeks. So I think I'm happy with this. It's quite a cheap. Not going to say that. That's not true. With Trippier, it's a very expensive defence, but if it didn't have Trippier, it'd be quite a cheap defence, I think. So, yeah, paying up for Trippier for a bit. I have got a bit of a temptation to double Newcastle defence and maybe take out Udogie, I would say, if anyone, and go for like Burn and Trippier would be a consideration as well, I think. What do you think? Any you like from this to start with?
Boring.
It is boring, yeah. It has to, like you said, you told me why it has to be boring. It's got to last for 20-25 weeks.
Could I interest you in Alexander Arnold?
I thought you were going to say Joachim Andersen because he's a bloody good pick as well, by the way.
Right.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. I do think he'll play this game, right? I do. Has he dropped at all in price, or is he still a stupid price? Or
7.9. It's not cheap.
He has dropped a bit, yeah. I mean, he probably is a decent pick. You weren't so keen on him before when you said like he's now worse as a midfield player.
He is, but the fixture run's really, really good after this week. Everton, Forest at home, Luton away, Brentford at home, City away obviously bad, Fulham at home, Sheffield United away, Palace away. It's just an outrageous run of fixtures for Liverpool.
Yeah, it's really good, and I'm definitely targeting them a bit further forward. Trent, maybe. I think if I can find the money, I think
too expensive is a problem.
It would have to be Trippier out. I think I'd have to lose Trippier to get Alexander on. I'm not putting more money into defence for God's sake. Yeah, I think it's an option. That it's nice that Newcastle have the cheap pivots So I can go Burn and Trent, you know what I mean, as like not a hedge, but like cover, like having a Newcastle defender still who's really cheap versus Trippier, you know what I mean? So yeah, very, very much a consideration. I think he's a good pick. I wouldn't go Robertson. I don't feel as safe with that. I think Trent's a better pick than Robertson.
And
Although
now
Robertson's dropped to
Trent's back as well.
6.
Robertson was attacking, but now Trent's back. I think he'll go into that more defensive role still. So I think he's a bit of a non-pick.
Yeah, there's a big difference in price there though, 6 and 7-9. But I think I'm leaning 0 just because they're so terrible defensively. But I think going forward, Trent is still the best defender, or still in the top 2 with Trippier anyway. So yeah, have they kept a clean sheet yet? I don't know. Have they? Oh yeah, Villa at home. Sorry. Shut out Villa. That's quite impressive, to be fair. But
is there none of the Man City defenders you're looking at? They've obviously got a tough run coming up, and you obviously rotation issues, but you didn't look at any of them.
No, tough run, rotation issues, and they score on goal. So overall, I'd say no, not for me.
Short and sweet.
Nah, they're absolutely fine as picks. They're just never, ever, ever, ever someone I've ever picked, and I just don't think I'm going to start now, especially with the fixture run. I hate not knowing if your defender's going to start, and if they don't start, whether they're going to come off the bench. You know what I mean? And Gvardiol, he was actually such a good pick when you went for him, JB. But I just think he's just not a good pick anymore. You know what I mean?
Now
I think
Champions League side as well. More fixtures, more rotation puts me off slightly as well.
Yeah, I mean Arsenal, Brighton, Man United, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Villa away. That is as tough as it comes, honestly.
And I think the problem, like I already said earlier, with so much more time being added as well, there's a lot less clean sheets, I think. And someone like Gvardiol is not exactly a flying down the wing type player. So I think strategy-wise, I'd be looking to go cheaper in defence without any massive premiums. And the defenders you do have, you want players who can get assists, cross the ball in, set pieces. So I think you're doing it right. Players like Cash, Trippier especially, Udogi's chipped in with a few assists already this season. I think they're the sort of players you do need to look at. And like I said, Gvardiol, with that fixture run, you're mainly banking on clean sheets for him, really. You just need him to win to 0. And I mean, they probably will. It's Man City, but yeah, he's not the sort of player to get forward as much. Maybe just from a corner. That's where you're looking.
Doyle, talk to me about Estupiñán. Is that a pathetic pick?
I've not looked at him yet. I mean, he is an awful pick. Don't get me wrong. What's his ownership? He's still 60% owned.
Yeah, he's only 58 now. Yeah,
that may well go down if he's injured this week. Though I think a lot of people could take him out. And obviously, because Josh is wildcard, he's got a strong subs bench as well to, like you said, to stash him away.
So, yeah, if you think there's going to be a massive ownership drop, then it's probably a pretty good pick. Given after they've obviously got Liverpool at home, City away, then they've got Fulham at home, Everton away, Sheffield United at home, Forest away, which is obviously really, really, really good. And to be fair, he's looked pretty fucking good going forward, hasn't he? So
a lot of people might rage sell him after the -2 as well, and now he's injured. So
yeah, I think it's a very casual. There'll be a big drop off this week, I think, on him. Injury, -2, bad fixtures. It's just like sell Estupiñán. I don't think many will include him on wildcard either, and I think there'll be some wildcards this week. So yeah. He's not exactly. I'd be open to an alternative there, to be honest. Like I would. Yeah. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, I was just going to say, is there anyone else? Basically, what you were saying, is there anyone else you've been looking at, or you've been tempted by, who maybe just ain't quite made the cut, or you wish you could have, but you ain't got enough funds, that sort of thing?
So not enough fun, not the funds issue, but Dan Burns definitely one who I really like the Newcastle defence. They're one who have been keeping clean sheets this year, more than the other teams, despite a tough start as well. They've had really tough fixtures up till before the last 2 games. And yeah, I think they're just a really good defensive team, similar to Arsenal a little bit. I think Arsenal are good defensively as well. So having a Gabriel and a Burn wouldn't be the worst, I don't think, especially Burn in perhaps the Estupiñán slot, just to give me a bit more money again, because I think Burn's 4.6 and Estupiñán's 5.1 my sell prices. So another 0.5 for the kitty there, but yeah, not sure. Might just stick with my read, I think, and keep Estupiñán and Gabriel. I might swap Udogi to Burn though.
Estupiñán is 5.3 now as well, so if you did get rid of him, you wanted to get him back, that'd be a little bit more tricky for you.
Yeah, and it's that run of fixtures from week 10. They're so good, and I think Arsenal have got a good game week 10 onwards as well, like in general. So yeah, they're like Arsenal got Sheffield United in game week 10, Burnley in game week 12, Wolves in 14, all at home, Luton 15. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I've thought about it, and that's the strategy. Just keep them two on the bench for the next couple of games, which are horrendous, and then go from there.
You wanted a mad punt, Willy Bolly is a fun one. 4.5 for Forest. But...
I think that is absolutely mental.
Not been considering him, Josh?
Yeah, not till now.
You considering him now then?
No, I was being polite.
Forest defensively, to be fair.
He's had some injuries. Like he's been in and out of the team a little bit last few weeks. I know didn't play last week. I think he was injured.
He did play.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a sneaky decent pick. But outside of that, there's really not a lot. I think Colwell's fine at Chelsea.
Yeah. Colwell is fine in that left back position. I think Chilwell's out till Christmas, JB. Is that right? Or did I just see that or something?
Well, latest is around about December time. So, and even when he comes back, he's obviously with a long-term injury, and his injury record, it'll take a bit of time to get up to speed. So I wouldn't even be considering once he comes back, to be honest, for at least 3 or 4 games.
And he's not first choice is the other issue. So yeah, it's not great, really, is it?
Well, no, if we get back in the team, he might be the last we've seen of him.
Yeah, poor Colwell. Absolute sense. He's been a bit of a hero to some in the last few weeks, I think. So yeah.
Out of all the players you've said, the only other ones I've mentioned is obviously Dan Burn, because I think Botman's a great pick, but now he's injured, people are going to look to Burn for that cheap saving for the Newcastle defender. The other one no one seems to mention is Pedro Porro. You've got Udogie at the moment. I think looking at the stats, Pedro Porro is much, much better on everything. And since I don't think he played the first game, but since then he's played every game. Andrew's talking him up. There's only a 0.2 difference between them at the moment. And I think if you could, I personally would be looking to try and get Porro in ahead of Udogie. And again, it goes into the 3 teams at the moment, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Tottenham, are the ones I'd really want to be targeting. So you have got to triple up with Tottenham anyway, but maybe just another option for Tottenham now.
Yeah, I did buy Udogie for 4.5, so my sell price is 4.6.
Yeah.
4 is a bit, but I did see the Pedro Porro thing. He is much better. I think my solution might be going with neither. I think that's what I'm going to end. I think I might put Burn in for Udogie and then go with neither, I think is what I'm going to do.
I think apart from Digne seems to be playing quite well as well. I'll give him a quick shout out, but then apart from that, you could throw in like a buyer from Burnley for 4 million if you need the extra money, just as a bit of bench fodder. Outside of that, I can't really see many other players, to be honest.
Tottenham have been quite poor defensively still. I think they've kept 2 clean sheets, to be fair, but
again, you just want the wingers, I think, just Udogie and Porro just for their attacking impetus.
Yeah, that might be true. Yeah, that's worth thinking about, definitely.
Midfielders?
Right, so this is where it's fun, I think. I think there's loads to pick here, as we've said all season.
We could spend a lot of time on these midfielders right now.
So I'll start with the ones so Son, Maddison, I think we're going to find it hard to not go with those. Salah, I've got in, who might be a surprise to some. I've got him in there.
Wow.
Bowen, and then Bruno Fernandes is the other one I've got in.
Keeping the faith with the best pick on the game, as you've been saying all season.
Yeah, they've got their fixtures are still amazing. They've got Brentford, Sheffield United, then they've got City, then it's Fulham, Luton, Everton. After that, they've just got great fixtures still. I'm just happy to ride him for the next 6 games, I think, and then after that, I might struggle to keep justifying if he keeps playing crap. But
it's a tough one. I mean, Doucouré is only a couple of points behind Fernandes at the moment. So is He-Chan from Wolves and the likes of that, you know. Jensen from Brentford's got more points than Bruno at the moment. It's not been the greatest start, has it?
Doyle, tell him we're looking at future points, aren't we?
He's a very good pick, Bruno. His stats are really strong. Has all set pieces, all pens. He's just a great pick still. I'm not taking him out of my team all season. I guarantee it. He's not coming out of my team once all season.
Are we worried about Man United's form? No, that is the issue as well. They've not been playing very well. They scored a couple last night, but they still managed to get beat at home.
Yeah, I think they'll score goals. I think they're going to keep scoring goals. I mean, the defense is just genuinely just atrocious. Like it's Elite One defense. Like it's so bad. Like I saw the goals last night. I don't know if you've seen them against the Galatasaray. They're so good. It's hilarious. It's like children defending. But I think they'll still score goals. They'll have to because they're going to concede so many.
I think that's a good point. That their bad forms obviously coincide with so many defensive injuries now. It's not helping them really, is it? I mean, you've got to cut them a little bit of slack. No one's really seems to be mentioning their defensive crisis, but
they for some reason as well decided to sign a centre mid to play in goal. I don't know what they're thinking there.
By the way, on this point, we should bring it up at this point. Do not sell Mbeumo this week. This is like a top 5 fixture this week. I'm not joking. Playing Man United is like a top 5 fixture this week. It's like they're so bad defensively, as you said. I can't see how you can sell him this week. And then they've got Burnley at home next week. Brentford have, by the way. So it's actually like a really good 2. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd consider selling after that.
Yeah, the rest of your 5 looks pretty good, Josh. I don't think Salah's a particularly great pick, but fine. I've got him, so.
Yeah, with the you've got to decide, haven't you? Like with the.
He's just not doing. He's just looking the same as he did last year. Towards I think at the end of last year, where he was sort of more peripheral in games. He wasn't shooting as much. His shots per 90's come down again this year. All of his XG looks good on paper, but it's because he's had like pens. You take them out, it looks really poor compared to previous seasons. He's just more of an assister this year. A lot further wide.
He's not really had them exploding games that he can have, has he? I think he's like returned in 13 of 13 up until the last week or so, even though he did kind of get an assist last week. But he's not in them returns. It has just been the one here and there.
To be fair, he has had a couple of goals ruled out, hasn't he? I know he's had at least one. I think it's 2 goals he's had ruled out so far this season by like close offside decisions as well. So you sort of had them in. I guess it's probably not as ugly a picture, but
yeah, I was going to say they've had tough fixtures, but not really. I mean, they've played Newcastle away and Wolves away, which aren't great. I wouldn't say for an attacking team. Chelsea away on the first game, that was quite a cagey affair. Tottenham away is not great either, I guess. So they haven't been the best ones, but they haven't played City yet. They haven't played Arsenal yet. You know what I mean? So
I guess that is the argument, right? The next 4 are incredibly good from an attacking perspective.
Yeah, I mean Brentford's good as well. They haven't been very good defensively this season either. So that's the next 5. You know what I mean? So
that's why you want to jump on him, yeah. Mainly the fixtures.
Yeah, the fixtures. He's just reliable as well. To be honest, he is reliable. He's returned every week, so he's just. I hadn't realised as a non-owner that he'd returned every single week up to the Tottenham game. It's not been big returns, but it's quite impressive that he's returned every week. Fair enough. I think one to consider, probably going to just spend the money there, I think, just because I've got the money and I need to spend it somewhere. So,
And is he going to be in your captaincy plans? Is that also why, with the easy fixtures, are you going to actually captain him over Haaland?
Yeah, this is the... This is the main reason I'm going to have him, I think. So I'm looking at the weeks comparably. So like week 8, we've got the Luton fixture for Tottenham. So I think that's covered my captaincy qualm there anyway. I'm going to captain a Tottenham player. In week 9, it's a close one, I would say. I think most would side with Haaland at home to Brighton, but Liverpool do have Everton at home. So I think that's fine as well.
Yeah, more of a 50-50 there.
Yeah, I think the Brighton. I think Haaland v Brighton's actually better thinking about it, but not the worst. And Tottenham have got Fulham at home as well, so that's an option for an out of position Son again.
Yeah, that's better than both.
Fulham are all right defensively, mate. They've done well this season so far. The keeper's very good.
Been very lucky.
Been
very lucky to concede as few as they have.
I mean, to be honest, the deciding factor is Tottenham play on the Monday night, so we have to just captain that one, don't we, really?
Chelsea just scored 2 goals against them, mate. They must be pretty bad defensively.
Yeah, you are right. Week 10's a close one again. Liverpool have got Forest at home. City have got someone absolutely terrible, I think. I can't remember who it is.
United.
United, yeah. So that one is better for Liverpool. Yeah, that like Liverpool home to Forest is probably better. Week 11, Liverpool have got Luton, Man City got Bournemouth, so I think you can take it on there as well. Week 12, Liverpool have got Brentford at home, City are away at Chelsea, so I think again Liverpool fixtures better there. And then week 13, they actually play each other, City and Liverpool. So you could probably take a punt that week. I think that'll be a good punt week for a lot of people, I think. Tottenham have got Villa at home again, not the worst. But yeah, Arsenal got Brentford, so that's an option probably. But yeah, my point is, I can't see any clear Haaland captaincy weeks for a while. Week 14, Liverpool have got Fulham at home. City got Tottenham at home. So again, you take the Fulham game, I think.
Every week's a Haaland captaincy week, mate.
What's that?
Every week's a Haaland captaincy week, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to do that. So see if I can win. See if I can make some points back.
It's how you win FPL and get really high ranking if it goes your way, right?
Yeah. Like the players you're taking it on with are much lower owned than Haaland, and also they're way less captain. So you just get 100% ownership discount, which is not something you can ever get really. So
the problem with argument is that there's just another asset for Liverpool. There's a much better captaincy option every week, and that's the issue.
Thank God for that. Yeah, I'm gonna because I'm gonna end up doing that because I just don't want to do this way that I'm talking about. So I'm gonna end up doing that, and that is actually ridiculous when you think about it because he's not even nailed. It's just like a guessing game, isn't it? It's just like. Yeah, absolute rubbish.
So in midfield, then you've obviously got Son and Maddison. I think that's absolutely fine. You've got to go with the Tottenham players. They're playing really, really attacking. Ange's getting a tune out of them. The confidence is high with them. I think that's a no-brainer. Them two picks. Also Bowen as well. You've got. So what was the thought behind Bowen? He's right up there, third top point scorer in midfield at the moment. Scored almost I think it's one goal off of what he scored the entire of last season already.
Yeah, he's got 5 goals this year. He's the third highest midfielder, as you said. And their fixtures are pretty good as well. I don't mind them anyway. They're not like
a lot better than last year as well. Their form's been a lot better than last year. They was dreadful in the league, and looked like relegation at one point for them until they turn it around. But they seem to be doing all right this year.
And he's got one of the best midfielders in the world threading balls through to him now as well, like an absolute hero of the fantasy world. Yeah, weeks 8 till 17 as a whole, I would say are really good fixtures. So he's just it's that like set and forget thing again. Like the Tottenham boys, I'm probably going to get rid of one of them in the not too distant future because they've got 3 good fixtures. Then it goes a bit worse at times. So I might end up not holding them for 10, 15 weeks, you know what I mean? Whereas Bowen, I think I'm penciling him in to just hold him, I think. So, yeah.
They do have really good fixtures, don't they? I didn't notice that. I mean, the next two is Newcastle and Villa. I think that is still quite tough. But then, like you said, from then, there's a long, long stretch of games. Really, really good.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the league, really. I think most fixtures are just good now. From an attacking point of view, you look at Man United at home and you think West Ham could score 3 in that game. It could be 3-1 to West Ham or something. You know what I mean? It's there's just a lot of good fixtures in the league now. I tend to not like the away games to the top 6 in general, but other than that, I think everything's all right, to be honest. So, yeah, West Ham have landed on one of these runs of 10 weeks where everything seems all right, I think. So, yeah, that's why I've got him in. Another consideration there was Luis Diaz. I think he's going to have a run in the team.
Who else are you looking at? Luis Diaz, definitely. I think he's just been so good. I love him, but I think he's up there with Salah for me. I think he's an incredible player. 7.5 million is he? I don't know if he's gone up 0.1 or 0.2 since the start. It's an absolute bargain if he's playing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Diaby for Villa is obviously a consideration. He's too cheap.
Come on, Josh. You know the player you've got to mention next.
Well, there's loads. Obviously, the one I talked about just now, Ward-Prowse, is obviously a great pick still.
No,
I know it's not him. I'm trying to buy myself a bit of time. Hang on.
Is it going to be a former Everton hero or something?
It could be.
I'm not. No.
He's back, baby. He's 6.7 now.
I mean, I'm obviously going to pick him. Like, there's absolutely no question that I'm not going to. They're all injured as well. All the replacements are injured. Have you seen? Solomon's out. Brennan Johnson's out. Perisic is out for the season. Literally, it's the front four we've dreamed of.
In his favourite position now as well. We said at the start of the season, didn't we, that they'll end up putting him out left, Son through the middle, and here we go. All lined up.
Is it pathetic that so I've done this draft that I've sent you guys, but
did he miss a sitter against Liverpool? Sorry.
Who?
Richarlison. I don't remember him missing a sitter.
When, last year?
No, in the last game against Liverpool.
Oh, Tottenham against Liverpool. I was thinking about I thought he still played for Everton.
He does it to you, doesn't he?
I was thinking from an Everton perspective. No, the bad thing is, no, he did, I don't think he missed a big chance. I don't remember that.
His XG is monstrous. His XA in that game was monstrous as well.
No, he didn't miss a big chance. He just is really good.
That's picking the game, mate. It's 6.7. Jesus, I couldn't wildcard and not go there.
Oh, yeah, that is quite cheap now. 6.7 when he started at 7. He's gone down 0.3 already. That is quite cheap.
So I was looking at Kulusevski actually.
No, he's shit, man.
He's not shit. No, that's not true. He's not shit.
He's
really good.
You got to be a bit worried now. Brennan Johnson's in town. I know he's injured again or whatever, but obviously he's going to play probably on the wing. They'll shift things around a little bit wherever he does play to compensate for him being in the team. So I think Kulu and Richie, even if they are in the team, whether they get 90 minutes every game, I definitely don't think that's going to happen.
Well, this week's the key week though, and I think they will get 90 this week because there's no one to come on.
Yeah, this week, yeah, for sure.
So it might be a good short-term punt, Richarlison or Kulusevski, and I am going to take it, by the way, because this is the reason why I was sneaky wanted to take a Dogie out, because I want to put Burn in there, like boring old Burn from boring old Newcastle, who are boring, and then I wanted to put a triple Tottenham midfielder in. That's how you play the game, isn't it? That's how you're going to win. Not this season, but I'm planning my strategy for next season, you know what I mean? Like, I can't win from this season. But like next year, I could win with like an aggressive move like this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm probably going to go Richarlison because I'm stupid, but I think Kulusevski's better.
Definitely not better. No way. It's just no way he's better. He's more expensive, shoots less, has way worse underlying XG, XA. He's just way worse.
Can we actually say that Richarlison is in any way better than these other ones we've talked about, like Diaby, Bowen, Diaz? Is he better?
I think he is.
I don't think long term he is. I'd definitely began Diaby if he was fit, but obviously he's not fit. So that does give you the option for this week with Tottenham playing Luton.
Yeah,
I think Bowen's really good.
He's staying anyway. Don't worry, Doyle. I'm not replacing Bowen. Bowen's going to stay. So you're lucky there. You're all good.
Elsewhere then, two really popular players this season who everyone's pretty much jumping off now, Mitoma and Mbeumo. Definitely not considering them.
No, mate. Like I say, Mbeumo's got a very good next two fixtures. Man United and Burnley. I think they're really, really good fixtures for the way those teams are playing at the moment.
I still do think Mitoma's good value for money at 6.6. It's still so cheap. I still think he's underpriced. I get why people ain't wanting him in the team, but I do think he'll keep ticking over. He's too good a player not to be assisting and getting goals.
My issue with him is, right, Brighton's best two attacking players play in the same position. That's what I don't understand. They're both left wingers. I don't understand why they signed Fati. He's a left winger who plays in Mitoma's position. It just makes me really nervous about what happened 2 weeks ago, where he bloody braced, by the way, but that he'll just be benched and he won't brace off the bench every week. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. And the fixtures are really tough, especially the next two. So I think for a week 10 wild card, you probably would go back to the well on him. I think you would, but this is why we're going for Richarlison, JB, because in 2 weeks we can reassess the Mitoma against Diaby, against all these other nonsenses. You know what I mean? And just pump Richarlison for 2 weeks again.
And if you are reassessing, obviously the main midfielder who's got the most points this season looks really, really good. Has got an injury, so he may not play this week. Saka, have you got a plan to get him back in at some point if he's fit? You might miss this weekend, but if he's back the weekend after, are you interested?
I haven't got a plan to get him back in now, which means
because he's a tough price as well, isn't he? You'd have to kind of lose Son in midfield if you want to keep him.
It'll be Son, and to be fair, Son is nursing an injury at the moment. Like he's someone I'm not certain about because you've got the out of position thing, which is great, but the problem is he's coming off on 60, 70 minutes every week because he is injured. Like you can tell he's injured as well when he's playing.
I'd be so scared to go about Saka though.
Yeah, I might do Son to Saka in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
The only other option you could have if you considered him is Martin Odegaard. So you could have Odegaard while Saka's out. Odegaard will probably be on penalties because Saka's out as well. Obviously, Odegaard was one of the best midfielders in the league last year. He's started again this season as if he is. He's been phenomenal, and because they're the same price, I think there's 0.1 difference in it. Saka probably will come down in price by the time that he comes back. You could have Odegaard and then on penalties, and then Saka can be like Odegaard to be a placeholder for Saka. Would you consider that?
I'm not going to pick him on a game week 8 wildcard. I think for week 10 they're great because they've got good fixtures from week 10, but City and Chelsea next 2, I just can't go there. I'm going to use a transfer in 10 maybe to bring an Arsenal player in if I want to, but
and you definitely wouldn't consider, if it's not Odegaard, you wouldn't consider Bruno as the placeholder maybe for Saka when he's fit.
As Doyle said, we have to keep Bruno all season. We've signed a contract, so we're keeping Bruno Fernandes all season. And
I'll make it. I was going to say, JP, do you want to make a bet now? I bet that Bruno will outscore Saka the rest of the season.
Done.
I thought you might both be quite headstrong on that one.
Yeah, I'll take that. What we did, 20 quid?
Yeah, 20 quid, even better.
Sounds good.
Well
I'm so confident that Saka's a bad pick. I'm so confident. It's all.
He doesn't even have penalties anymore. He keeps passing them. He keeps assisting his teammate.
Even if he's out for the next 3 weeks, I'll still take that bet. Forget about the injury. I'll let you have the injury now.
Okay, should we move on to strikers? We're already running quite long.
One quick thing on the midfielders, we didn't mention them, but if you were going cheap, I really, really like Anthony Gordon and Neto. Anthony Gordon suspended this week, but now Harvey Barnes is out for 3 months, I think it was. I think the form that Gordon's in, I know Isak can play out wide, but obviously Wilson's got an injury anyway. I think Anthony Gordon at 5.6 is real good value. He's looking the real deal. And as for Neto, fixtures have been tough, but he seems like he's moved up a level. The last 2-3 games I've seen Neto play, it's been absolutely phenomenal. I watched the Liverpool game. He looked really good in that. And then the highlights from Man City, everyone's probably seen the goal he scored. He literally ran all the way through the defence. His confidence is high. And when they get better fixtures, 5.6, I think that's a really good price. So again, you could have Neto now, and then when Anthony Gordon comes back, you can flip them because they're the same price. But if you did want to go cheap, 2 really good players, I'd shout out.
I'm checking the yellow cards. This is the thing I always stumble on each year, so you've helped me with that. Bruno's actually on 3 yellow cards, which means we might have to sell him at some point, though. Maybe it'll land on a Saka sideways move or something like that.
And Rashford as well, just quickly, because he's so popular in the community and so many people have him. Is everyone jumping off him now just because his output is the body language, just being so out of form at the moment, things ain't going for him, and he's quite pricey as well. 8.8, are we not considering him at all?
I think he's still a good pick. I think he really is still a good pick. It seems like the 3 positions in the team are completely nailed, like the left-hand side, Bruno, and then Højlund, and then it's the right-hand side that's up for grabs. So I really like Rashford. He has been subbed off again, like every game. So it's like a bit of a strange one with the minutes. I don't know if he's like nursing something, but
I think it's like Ten Hag, just like he won't drop him, but he's kind of saying, look, come on, we need that little bit more end product from you. Possibly. But anyway, should we move on to strikers? So you got Haaland, obviously, like we won't even need to go into detail about that. But who have you paired with Haaland up front then, Josh? I assume Watkins, right?
No, you are wrong. There is no Erling Haaland. He ruins everyone's team because he keeps taking the armband and, he's blanked at least once or twice. So I'm going to take him on. I've gone Watkins, Darwin and Cameron Archer.
Nearly fell off my chair.
No more discussion needed there, really, probably, I would say. It's just fine, isn't it, really?
Okay. So you're more than happy going Salah over Haaland, right?
No, I'm not. To be honest, I wish
It's
there
just
was
because you got that money
a
left.
different player that you could pick other than these two people.
Are you sure
But
you wouldn't consider Diaz then, like we mentioned, and Haaland instead then?
yeah, I probably should consider that. I think that's a very decent option.
But you're not going to do it. You definitely know Haaland, right?
But the thing is, I wanted you boys to be a bit more sure on Salah because I hate Salah. So every time someone says something bad about Salah, I think, oh yeah, I agree.
You
So
know
like,
I'm a Salah lover. I love Salah, but I am coming round to the idea now that I did want him because of his explosiveness at the beginning of the season. I thought like there's a lot of options in midfield, but he really can get you the points. There's no point saving money everywhere if you're not going to get them big points in. That's why I wanted Salah. But because Salah hasn't been doing that, I just feel like the midfielders, you can have 5 decent midfielders, super cheap. Well, I say super cheap, but not like in the 12 million range, who can be from 6 to 8 million. And then midfielders are covering Salah at the moment, I think, because there's so much quality in midfield and there's so many options to score points that the gap between having 5 really good midfielders for 7, 8 million and then that huge gap to Salah at 12.5 million just seems like you can make a big save in there.
if you think about it, JB, I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. Would you end up with 0 Liverpool on your wildcard then? Do you think?
Definitely wouldn't touch the defence. I think TAA is overpriced. Robbo's going to be slotting into when Trent goes into midfield. Robbo sits back too much now, so I wouldn't consider them. The other two are dog shit. Their defence lets too many goals in. Darwin, I still think is rotation. Even if he plays, he's going to come off 65, 70 minutes. I know Gakpo's got an injury, so I'd wait to see how serious that is. That could change things perhaps, because Darwin is definitely knocking on the door to be the regular starter now. But I think I'd go maybe Diaz. That's the only one I'd consider.
I think Darwin's more nailed than Diaz.
I think he considers Salah and Diaz now his 2 main midfielders.
I think that's his front three. I just think that's his front three. Salah, Diaz, and Darwin.
Yeah, he has been bringing Jota suspended as well this weekend, so that's another game he ain't going to play.
Yeah, I just think that's what the clear best front three they have. It's 3-4, and I think it's what Klopp likes at the moment.
And I think even with the lack of minutes, even if Diaz don't play every game, that 5 million saving or 4.5, whatever it is, he's good enough, and Liverpool's attacking play is good enough to reward Diaz with enough points to cover Salah.
It's just like the thing with Darwin is, it's okay. Maybe Diaz might be. I actually don't. I don't know if Diaz is more nailed than Darwin, but okay, say it's relatively close. Like Darwin's numbers are just so far clear of Diaz and anyone else in the entire game, really, that it's just like it just seems a no-brainer to me. Like,
but Darwin does love a shot though, doesn't he? He will literally shoot from anywhere, which is a good thing.
It's great. 6 times a game.
His stats up as well though, when he's probably not always going to score them shots.
Yeah, and obviously he's helped. Like his underlying numbers are helped. Like his per 90 numbers are helped by the fact that he comes off the bench quite a lot. So you've got to take just soul, but it's still just absolutely outrageous. Like,
I think if he was ever going to go on Darwin, though, Josh, now is the time because he's looked good since he come on. He scored them goals against Newcastle when they had 10 men and he won the game for him. 2 amazing strikes. Since then, he just looked good in every game. Gakpo's injured. Jota's suspended. It's his chance now to get that position. So if you are going to do it, I think now is the time. And then obviously you can jump off. You can go on to Højlund if he continues to get a couple more goals or whatever. So yeah, he's nailed at the moment, Darwin, I think. And then if not, jump off. Why not? You're on wildcard, aren't you? So you shouldn't have too many issues the next few weeks. You should be able to build up your 2 transfers and then you've got that to use if you need it.
It's too much fun, man. There's just too many people I want now. Like it's like we've never done. I don't think I've ever been on this with you guys when I've been like on a wild card, or we haven't discussed it in this much depth anyway.
I think there's a legitimate argument to have 3 up top as well now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Up until yesterday, I wouldn't have said Højlund, but now I'm back on the Højlund train.
I like Højlund, but I think he's just behind these other guys. But yeah,
I just think it's quite cheap. 7 million. That's that. All I love a bit of value. I just think 7 million is fairly cheap for him.
I'm still really midfield leaning though, Doyle, because let's say we're definitely having Bruno, Son, Maddison, right? That's 3. I think there's just so many others still in midfield. You know what I mean? That are just like
picks everywhere. I mean, like the other one as well up top. Sorry, Gabriel Jesus. Like he's got 2 bad ones now. I think he's probably a better pick than Saka or Odegaard. Well, maybe not. But yeah, I don't think it's wild to say it.
Yeah, he played and scored last night as well. Jesus. He seems like he's going to be. He ain't going to play Nikita up front, are they? Instead of Jesus.
Isaac, is Wilson injured? Did I see that, or am I making it up?
Yeah, Wilson's got a knock now. He didn't play the last game. I'm not sure how long it is. I don't think it's as serious as Botman, but Isak scored 3 in his last 3 as well, so 7.5.
Solanke's a decent pick at 6'4", which is mental, but I wouldn't go there personally. But
how about Alvarez? He's been probably the most popular player in the community of late. Good all-round game. Scored a great free kick against Wolves. Not come into your thoughts because of the fixture run, Josh?
He's an unbelievable pick. He's another really, really good pick, but I'm not going to go there now. I like playing the fixtures. So
yeah. And Watkins, you got Watkins, right?
Yeah,
he's a bit of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah,
very all-round, good fixtures, good team, playing well. The team's playing well. Yeah, I like that.
I think Watkins probably would be a spot that I'd jump off for this stage. If I was on Wildcard, I'd probably play that. Just because everyone is going to jump on it, right? I don't know what his ownership is now, but it's probably not very high. So 24% is still pretty high. It just feels like everyone's going to jump on Watkins now, and I think there are other spots to go for. Still, he's a great pick, but
yeah. Is there anyone else you'd look at? Calvert-Lewin back in the team, firing on all cylinders. Talk him up. Doyle, go on.
He is a good pick. Like we're getting chances. Scored 3 and 3. He's a good pick, yeah. But there's just so much going on, isn't there?
If you wanted a really, really cheap player, Archer has been dead quiet since his first game when he got his goal and assist.
Mate, he's never scoring again. He scored against Everton. That's it. He's done. He's never scored. And he's one of the...
I could see him being on benched soon because he obviously hasn't done nothing since. But Broja is back fit and he scored on his first game back or his first start back for Chelsea against Fulham on Monday. Only 4.9. So if you was looking for a bench fodder, yes, you can go with Archer for 4.5. But I think Archer is just going to be a perennial 2-point player if he does play. Whereas Broja, he's 4.9. Yeah, you're paying a tiny bit more, but for a striker, that is dirt cheap. And
do you think he's better than Jackson? I mean, it doesn't take much. But...
well, I mean, Broja didn't do too much for us last season, to be fair. He did at Southampton. He was really, really good. But he's definitely more of a target man, I think. And we've all seen what Jackson's done so far. So he's not really impressed, is he? So scoring on your first start, I think that's his place to lose now, really. And Nkunku ain't going to be back for a good month or 2 at least. I don't think so. Maybe Broja, you're just chasing the upside, I think, but you can have him cheap on your bench and then see what develops there, maybe. But it's a long shot, but just another option.
Good. Seems to make sense, right? I think he's probably better than Jackson. So.
Yeah, it's just something different. You go on Twitter and you hear the same old shit, don't you? But I like to throw in a Billing or a Broja occasionally.
So, Josh, are you crystal clear now off the back of this? I think it's a pretty obvious 11, yeah?
He seems like a broken man now. Look at him. He's gone so quiet. He's
really, really pained.
No, I'm upset with myself because we've said all these things and there was about 30 good picks we listed, right? And I've just put Richarlison in. And I just can't stop it. It's like crack. It's like an addiction.
Do you know what I would do, honestly? If you put Richarlison in, great. But then look to get him out for Neto or Gordon. That's what I would suggest.
I'm gonna sell him. I'm gonna sell him for Luis Diaz, I think, after 1 or 2 weeks.
If you got the money, then yeah.
They're the same price, aren't they? Pretty much. How much is Luis Diaz?
I think 7.5, isn't it?
Bloody hell! This is no way I'm selling him then.
And then Richie's 6.7, which is still very cheap, but
yeah, he's got the sort of 3 weeks, I think, of good fixtures. I think Udogie might be rubbish now because Porro's stats are so much better that I might just triple the midfield, I think, and just hope they win 5-6-1. You know what I mean? Something like that. So
with the good fixtures, though, wouldn't you rather just maybe just in case they keep some cleans, and then obviously you got Porro for his attacking strength as well. Maybe like because are they gonna all three of them gonna haul? You say you want to win the game. It's highly unlikely that all three are gonna get loads of points in one game. You're only gonna get it from one or the other, maybe.
Well, it had only been a 6-1 or something. In a 6-1, they can obviously all get there, right? So, like, Luton seems like a 6-1 game. If any game could be a 6-1, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's the time to attack. I think.
I think Maddison correlates well with both Son and Richarlison as well, right? Like he's the assist guy in general. So
Richarlison's been getting a lot of assists. Actually, he's like a bit of a because he's playing wider now, which is where he's supposed to be playing.
You can see that Richarlison to Son connection as well. Like it's not like.
Yeah. I can see them all connecting with it. I think the two highest correlations are obviously Maddison and Son and Richarlison and Son. But yeah, I can see it. I could see Richarlison backheeling onto Maddison, curling it top bins. I'm just seeing it now. I'm going to dream about it, I think. I also had a dream that Bowen got a red card, by the way. So I literally can't pick him anymore. Like, I actually can't. Like, it's like I've got the choice to either have him or not have him. And my dream told me he got sent off. So there's just like I can't pick him now, surely, right?
This is the sort of insight you get on FPL. You don't get this on the other channel, to tell you that.
Yeah, 20-minute discussion on Richie, eh?
What are you two boys doing? Should we cover that, or are we going to skip it?
Yeah, well, I suppose we covered your team enough, so we don't really need to look ahead. Who are you thinking the captain in just quick this week, Josh?
Son.
You got Son now, so you're going to go with him, yeah?
Yeah, because I don't have the best captain, so I need to. I don't have the best captain on Wildcard, so I'm going to go with Son instead.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think captain percent's going to look like overall? Maybe not overall, maybe like amongst.
From the polls I've seen, it's genuinely this week. It's Son first, Salah second, Maddison third, Haaland fourth.
So I'll captain that one.
Yeah, it seems good. I think I should do that probably.
I'm really tempted to hit the wildcard button after speaking about this.
You got 2 transfers now? Did you?
Yeah, problem. Yeah.
You can't. You can do it next week. Next week's fine.
Yeah, and I've got the double Palace D against not Forest at home, which sounds good. I've already got 2 Spurs. So I'll have to just bring in Richarlison this week for my 2 free transfers and then just.
And then hit it next week. I think is good. I think that's over the international break. Seems good for 2 weeks tinker time, mate.
Yeah, sounds good.
JB, are you close to wildcard?
I do like it after what we said. I think it's a half decent time to jump on, to be honest. So we'll have a look. Looking at my team, I won't go into too much detail. I guess we don't really need to do teams too much this week because we've spoke so much about your team, which, correlates to what people should do this week. They can take their bits and bobs out of it if they've got a transfer or 2. But yeah, it's hard for me this week because there's so many injuries and unknowns at the moment. It is Wednesday, but I think you've got to wait until the press conferences to do anything because you've got, obviously, Botman's out for a lot of people, so he won't be playing. He's very well owned. Stupinan apparently has an injury now, obviously really well owned. Saka didn't play last night, definitely got an injury, but we're not sure the severity of it. So there's a lot of doubts at the moment. I think Diaby is why people wanted to bring him in for Villa. He's got a knock and he's not playing, so it's all up in the air at the moment. I don't think you can give too much advice until you know what injuries are what and really can analyse it closer to the weekend. So pretty much as you were for my team for the time being, but we'll have a look, see what the wild card looks like. But I'm glad we spoke about yours, gave some ideas.
One transfer, JB?
2.
Oh, 2. Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of different things I can do, so I'm not sure.
You can bring in Smallison as well, mate. We'll all do it.
I've got triple Shakhtar defence on Champions League. Royal Antwerp have scored after 3 minutes.
Congratulations.
Well done. Lovely stuff. Yeah.
I think that's a good note to come out on. Then Josh, do you want to send us out?
Yeah, please follow us on Twitter, X, all in FPL. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Obviously, share the video if you can as well. It's obviously very punty to go without Haaland, but we're definitely gonna shamelessly use it in the plug or what do you call it? What do you call it when you're trying to hook people? The clickbait. Sorry, there you go.
Right.
No Haaland wildcard ? Look out for that video this week, guys. That's what it'll be called. All right.
We're on it. Okay. All right. See you later, guys.
See you later.
Cheers.